Good morning, ladies and gents. Good morning to you. A happy May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo to you. Hope y'all having fun out there, eating some nacho chips and some queso and some drinking some tequila and cerveza and, munching on some fajitas and just enjoying everything, dancing maybe a little bachata, right? A little merengue, right? Hopefully, y'all mentally are throwing out the basura in your mind. Get rid of the trash in your mind, right? One time. Shout out one time to my Mexican brothers and sisters, resistors against evil forces trying to take from them. This is what Cinco de Mayo is about, ladies and gentlemen. So we gonna hop on in. We gonna hop right on in. We are reading from. I like doing this, y'all, for the truth seekers out there, right? For the history buffs out there. There's something that I'm gonna do that's gonna flip your mind a little bit. We are gonna many of the things that we pull from, which are sourced. By the way, there's nothing that I read here that won't have a source that goes to another article or goes to a book of which a certain thing was made from. Another one of these defenses in the mind, ladies and gentlemen, is this idea where nothing's sacred. Everything is up to interpretation and all that kind of thing. And while to an extent it is, we take it too far. And then nothing ever is ever proven. Nothing ever is ever definitive. Nothing is ever discussed. That is done on purpose to keep us trapped in this sick cycle of making money for the man, as my so-called black brothers would say and sisters would say. So we're gonna read right off this thing. This ain't gonna be this again, ladies and gents, the story's been written. We're playing that on the back end, right? We play in the back nine of a game already set, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Cinco de Mayo, Spanish for the 5th of May. A lot of things you're going to see here, guys, deals with one of these countries in Europe that was really, really, really involved in doing a lot of takeover for however people want to sympathize with Spain and all that kind of thing. Understand, y'all, like how you speak English, Spanish is all over the place, ladies and gentlemen, because someone took someone's heritage from them. So when Spain came calling, whatever language those people were speaking, it got replaced with what we call today Spanish. I know this is going to hurt the mind, y'all, but you got to understand, see, compassion. Love and compassion is what's going to help this thing, y'all. You guys got to see these stories through the eyes of love and compassion, not document and not cold calculated fact. You have to see the facts through the eyes of compassion. You got to mix the two. So here we go. Right? A yearly celebration held on May 5th to celebrate Mexico's victory over so Spanish is one, but another one that had to deal with this one was the French. Another good old group. And I know, again, the idea is a real thing. People like to disassociate from certain things, and that's okay. But again, many times you can hear in the words and phrases of people where they have not let a thing go. Ladies and gents, I got to say this very, very boldly and efficiently, proudly, that we got to stop our bias where it comes to our Mexican brothers and sisters. They're not just your toilet cleaners, okay? They are not just your lawn cutters. No different than black folks was raising your kids back in slavery. Yeah, we was raising your kids. That's where mammy come from. We're talking about the different people of the world other than Europe. Because this is where this mess comes from. It's like you made a us versus them kind of thing. Y'all, this is not we. This is we. This is not us versus them. The longer you hold on to that in your mind, the further you go down in destruction created by massa to hurt you. Massa now is no longer the plantation owner. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I know, right? We want to get past this. Again, you want to get past this. The way you get past this is by dealing in life with the things that have been set up from these events that happened long ago. Because it ain't went nowhere. I know y'all think the Civil Wars, and we're going to get into the Civil War here in a second. It ain't went nowhere. So a yearly celebration held on May 5th to celebrate Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire. I'm not going to really get into First and Second French Empire. Just know literally if they told you second, that means there was a first. And just like over in Asia, to my Asian brothers and sisters, this really didn't have anything to do with them. We're just tying in humanity here, right? Their various wars and battles over their empires and emperors, as they titled them, and all that unfortunate mess that went over there, because for some odd reason we don't share. We don't practice the sharing part. We practice the warring part. Yet we are judged, y'all. See, again, how do I say that, KJ? How can you say we're judged? Look at life. Look, there's things that have now come up and sprouted up in life as is, which are not for our benefit. Let's not be, ladies and gentlemen, stop being duped by a lot of these defenses in the mind. This is not for our benefit. What you see today is not for the benefit. It's for the opposite, okay? It's for someone else's benefit, not yours, okay? And again, this is the thing that this is the thing when you're talking about to yourself, we can do responsibly. We can stand up for ourselves responsibly and respectfully, right? But no, this ain't for you. This is for someone else. So, Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. Now, pay attention to the year, because again, we talked about how there was a secondary Reconstruction period that is unnamed. But that happened after you got your GI Bill. You have a lot of certain things here. This is nothing against listen. See, drop the rocks. I already know because I've gone, you know how many different debates and stuff I've been on this type of discussions on these things. Again, folks, drop the rocks. That's what they want you to do every time some of these subjects come up. When that angers, hit the pause button on that anger and just listen. Don't react in anger. That's how they want you. That's how they trained you to react. You don't react, and that's not a natural response that's coming. That's coming from what they have embedded in our elders and ancestors passed down to us. It's one of the biggest. If you talk about the subject of generational curses, this is one of the biggest ones of all with the races, with the cultures. Break it, y'all, and you do it. By not operate, one of the ways you do it is by not operating in anger when these subjects come up. So, the Battle of Puebla in 1862, led by General Ignacio Zaragoza. Let's see. Larger French force defeated them in the Second Battle of Puebla. So nobody really talks about that, of course, which... Why would we even talk about that? Because, again, you're talking about occupation of somebody else's lands for your own selfish gain. So why would we even talk about that, right? The only reason you would even look into any of that is so that you can learn how to better protect yourself when they come calling next time. Because, again, if you set the precedent, this idea that, oh, that was just in the past, it's not going to happen again. When you study human history, you realize people just don't learn. They just don't learn. And as a result, you repeat in the same pattern when the next similar set of circumstances arises. This is why it's not out of the realm to talk about another civil war. It's not out of the realm to talk about another world war. Because, again, humans are not learning. They're refusing to learn. And you pay a penalty for it. And the penalty is war. The penalty is y'all destroying yourselves because you won't learn to share. And when you really have a real conversation in your mind and in your heart and with other people about it, you got to understand that's a sick game they playing, man. They're okay Xing you off the map and then draft you for it. And y'all got mad at Muhammad Ali because he wouldn't get involved in the Vietnam War? Why would you get involved in more death and destruction when all that's about is takeover? That has got nothing to do with capitalism versus communism. See, this is the real gritty. This is what you turning up a bottle of tequila for, y'all. Yo, I know we play that DID game. This is what we do, man. Stop doing that. When you get healthy in your mind, you start realizing certain things and you stop doing that. Start meshing the two together. The life you live in was based on some real horrible stuff, y'all. And y'all were brought in as pawns in the game to help someone else keep stuff for them. So, however, they occupied Mexico City in that Second Battle of Puebla, by the way. Which again, I mean, if you now back in the day, different cities weren't a thing. Mexico City is the capital of it's the capital and largest city of Mexico. Which is funny here. It's also the most populous city in North America. That's interesting. Again, we're just looking at some things right on. See, I'm doing one of these things in real time with y'all today because I want you to understand a certain thing about life. I want you to understand where your boy KJ is coming from, and what you got to do to learn. This is what you got to do to learn things, man. Because unfortunately, they won't teach you this in school. They don't talk to you about this in school. How many kids out there know the French was trying to take over Mexico back in the 1860s? I bet you they don't know that. It's sad, right? You turn up. We got all this Mexican stuff all over the place. We got all the things that we associate, like flowers and different exotic birds and all the stuff that we think of in Mexico. And that's the opposite for people who just think they're full of druggies. Like the stupid stuff Donald Trump talks about Mexico. Again, we're talking natives of these lands, but that's okay. That's par for the course with how Europeans think about people who have lived on these lands. It's no different than in the 1800s. They thought the same way. Like how they thought that the folks that were dark skinned, that they called black, were 3/5 of a person, so that they could set up an electoral college that we now still vote in to this day. But no, we don't talk about Bruno. Shout out one time to that movie Encanto, man. Yeah, that movie Encanto, man. we don't want to talk about Bruno. So then you see that family was suffering because they didn't talk about Bruno, y'all. Did you realize that throughout that whole movie? There was a part of their family they cut off, and they hurt themselves as a result. As soon as they started talking about Bruno, though, that whole thing got better. They worked through what they needed to, and that whole thing got better. Y'all, guess what? Y'all need to start talking about Bruno in your family. Hey, y'all need to start talking about Bruno in your family, man. Ain't no shame in it. Ain't no shame in it. Uncle, aunt, whoever did whatever foul stuff in your family. Father, mother, grandfathers, greats. It don't matter. Start talking about it, y'all. Stop believing the lie they keep telling you, we can't talk about this. Yeah, you can talk about it. You damn right we can talk about it. The reason you're not talking about it is the question you need to ask yourself. Really, really do a deep dive in your mind. Ask yourself, why are we not asking these questions? Let's continue. However, following the end of the American Civil War in 1865, look at the gap in time, y'all. So while a little up north, y'all can't figure out a way to have an economy without doing it on the back of someone else. I ain't talking about the separatist part. We just spoke about this yesterday. I'm not talking about the separatist part between the North and the South, y'all. We need to come up. This mess don't make no sense, y'all. You know what? See again, this is why when they talk about Civil War, it's a very real thing. This is why y'all need to go see that movie. It's time, y'all. We have wasted time doing this mess. Y'all really care about some of the stuff you care about so much. I'm telling you, in your city governments and stuff, y'all make the plan to, and never mind. If you really see again, we front too much, y'all. We ain't ready. We ain't ready for the stuff we asking for, man. So either one of two things: we either figure out how to do this together, or we do it apart. That's it. That's it. There's no harm in that. I'm not speaking violence and preaching doom and gloom, guys. We're talking about the response in life here. You're not outdoing how this thing is made, guys. I understand we do that in a feeble gesture, but look at the repeat pattern in history. You're not outdoing the thing. We either work together or we don't. This is what Cinco de Mayo was about. People could not work together. You had a whole ass battle because you just war. People dying, y'all, not coming back. See again, we play this thing like it's again no different than Massa, where everything don't really mean anything, where it's very frivolous in nature, where we just go around and it's just a big old party with nothing really mattering to anybody. That's a problem, guys. Life means something. Wasting life like that's horrible. Horrible. Because y'all just can't figure out how to make money? Money? You had whole civilizations and societies before you came invading. Everywhere where you see occupation and civil, certain one of these words, transpose it with invasion, and it'll mean more to you. So when you say these things about colonization, switch out the word for colonization and put invasion. Because that's what it was, guys and gals. That's what it was. Again, you will always hear me say this on this podcast. However y'all choose to believe a thing and look at a thing, go for it. But that's not what was going on here, man. That's not what set up the game here. So following the end of the Civil War, the United States began now I guess this was nice. See, again, a lot of nations do this gesturing thing. See, it's the same thing that's going on today with Russia and Ukraine, with Israel and Palestine. You're getting aid so that you can be aided on the back end. It's got nothing to do with, listen, and this is the part where this gets people hemmed up. And so it's not because you care, okay? When you talk about certain things with homosexuality and stuff like that, it's not because they care about you. It's the money they can make off your back, y'all. Because there's no money, there's no profit to be made in totally staying against you. Again, that's why black folks could get 3/5, but you definitely ain't getting 4 or 5/5. That's not, that part's not happening, right? We can profit off you up to a certain point. Then after that, goodbye. This is what happened over in Florida. But guess what? Because because humans all together agree on the thing. Guess what happens, man? I mean, guess what happens, y'all? When you exclude a group of people, guess what they did over in Florida? They all left. And what was left? You said you don't want these immigrants over here. Meanwhile, your ancestors are immigrants. But I digress. See, we playing a DID. No. This is new, KJ. This ain't 18. Okay. Oh man. Man, oh man. 1865 with the Civil War, the U.S. started giving guns to Mexican liberals, pushing France and Mexican conservatives to the edge of defeat. So we're going to skip down there because that's a good part right there to skip down into. The reason for the battle. And this will probably lead into the next episode that I do in a couple of days here. On this precious minister will float out his mouth from the inside of him. It ain't came from his brain. It ain't come from no exegetical blah, 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 blah that they teach you in seminary school. A lot of that mess has got nothing to do with flows from the spirit of a person, from the inside of a person. Talking about our Christian brothers and sisters right now. We talking straight to y'all because I'm done. You ain't talking all this revival mess and everything. You ain't going to operate no power doing this kind of garbage to humans, man. God's creation. How deceived you are. Here we go. Anyway, again, to each their own, man. But it is, again, I re-referenced something that I said way back when I started this podcast. This is the commentary / opinion of the content creator. Y'all take it for what it is. Again, we're not out here trying to convince you. Okay. This is just presenting information. So you read down a little bit, the events leading to it. Cinco de Mayo has its roots in the second French intervention in Mexico, okay, which took place in the aftermath of 18. And these got links here. You can, again, for time, we're not going so far down the road. But the longer you go down, the further you go down the road, the more you just see how horrible people are to each other. Does not matter whether you believe in something or not. People have been very horrible to each other. Still are, right? Looks different today. Because today it's in stretch pants and, skinny jeans and flannel shirts and bandanas tying up your hair or, whatever you got your hair cut, in so it don't get messed up before the party you go to that night. Right? We're just keeping it real, but we still cutting each other off in traffic, still flipping each other off. We're still hating on each other from the stuff that our grandparents taught us about other people. We're just saying what it is, y'all. Men still getting in fights with women, whooping them worse than Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. We just talking about what it is, man. You think Ike Turner and Tina Turner was going through some stuff? While that stuff was horrible, man. I mean, we're talking about what repeats itself. Again, this is the reason why women is done. This is that you think intercultural marriage is a problem. Then, man, this thing about to blow up, man. People are done. I'm telling you. Oh, man. Anyway. This is on top of just who you love, by the way. You're accelerating it at a higher rate because of how horrible you treat people. Which took place in the aftermath. This second French invasion in Mexico had to come back 2 times. That's how strong this was. Shout out to you, Mexican brothers and sisters, man. You let these people take your mess without a fight. This is the point, right? This is the door y'all wanted to open. People have a right to defend themselves, man. And there's similar stories like this in South America. There's similar stories like this over in Puerto Rico. Shout out to my Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, my South American brothers and sisters. Chilean, don't matter where it is. Argentinian. Panama. Portugal was on some mess, man. Let me tell you what. See, we're talking these European nations, man, it's bad. That's one that I rarely mention, but they right up in there. The Portuguese, man, hey, anyway. Which took place in the aftermath of 1846 to 1848 Mexican-American War and the 1858 to 1861 Reform War. So they explain the one. Let's see, for time here, we might. I'm gonna try to keep this right around 30 minutes because again, this is known knowledge, y'all. And y'all need to go get it and collect it and keep it deep in your heart and mind before they start doing what they normally do, which is just having it go away. History class would take a whole huge effect, man, if we started doing this. If we combined what was going on in these wars back then with the different cultures, boy, oh boy, man, history class would be fun for kids to go to. But anyway, some of it might be traumatic. You may want to save this for kids about, let's see, we'll say like 10th grade and up. 10th, 11th, and 12th for sure should have to go through all of this. We're talking about education now. Y'all need to know. The kids need to know, ladies and gentlemen. They need to know about the 60s and 70s. They need to know about this sick mess that we was doing to each other. They need to know they need to know. They need to know. So that they can make their own choice to continue life doing the same stupid stuff that their parents was doing and their great-grandparents and grandparents was doing. And before that, or something new. Something better. And history has proved that humans can do better. The Reform War, let's continue on here. The Reform War was a civil war that pitted the liberals who believed in separation of church and state. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go. Funny how you put that. We already talked about this thing between liberal and conservative. You look back, listen to my election day episodes last year. We go deep into these words, liberal and conservative. Not really deep, but it is deep from the standpoint of people just don't know the definitions of words and phrases. So it opens up the deep meaning. In reality, it's just simple. Again, you either believe about the bounty of something, which in this case would not have the church lording over the state. See, what y'all don't understand is that so far, how belief went so far with people. They organized the whole thing around it. That's what is called religion. So much so that they started controlling how people operated. This is why I mentioned what went on with the papal. And to my Christian brothers and sisters, if y'all have one defense in your mind right now, defending that mess, we've got a problem. We got a problem. The heart of God is missing here. And y'all transposed it exactly what Jesus talks about. That's why the ministry, listen to me real quick. Listen to your brother. Listen to Uncle KJ real quick. If you say you love God, we got to start loving people better. This judgment mess we keep going back doing is wrong. It was wrong when Jesus was talking to the disciples. It was wrong once they became apostles. It was wrong after that, y'all. There is nothing under the code of heaven and earth and hell that says this is how you're supposed to be toward people. We gotta stop. Because we are destroying ourselves as a result. And I'm only speaking on the Christian side of things. You can also look at different things of human history concerning my Muslim brothers and sisters. Okay? We're just saying what it is, y'all. We have done some atrocities in the name of what we believe. And that's a problem. If it is true that there is none righteous, no, not one, y'all, we've been doing it backwards. That's all. That's really hey. Okay, so they pitted it, the Reform War in 1858 to 61. This is all going on this North American continent, by the way. Again, go look up what considers the North American continent, and you know what? Let's not even. I'm not even gonna, because again. We're not out here to be anything other than sending you info, sending you information. Let's see if we can get some images of this. They play that. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we want. So, a continent in the northern and western hemispheres. That's where you get this idea about west versus the east. So, if you want to know about the nations and the land masses in the west and in the east, that will give you a better clarity when you're talking about how people are looking at things. It's funny how, when you go down, again, I'm still on Wikipedia. We're looking at North America, right? Just to talk about what's on this continent. There's a little subsection here that says religions. Now, this is coming from religious composition by country 2010 through 2050. I don't know how you can do to 2050, but hey. Okay, this is a breakdown of religions in the North American continent. Christianity is at the top here at 74%. Do you know what's next? It's second. No religion. I'm showing y'all how we keep doing this garbage. Can we give recognition to folk? Can we do it? Can we do it? Who are the groups of people that are no religion? Why are we doing that? You couldn't make this thing a little bigger. You had to do it as no religion. Tell me about atheists. Tell me what the percentage of agnostic people are. Tell me about it. Don't give me no religion. Anyway, that is a belief they have, y'all. Anyway, so North America is bordered to the north by the Arctic Ocean, to the east by the Atlantic Ocean, southeast by South America, the Caribbean Sea, okay, the Pacific Ocean. The Greater North America includes the following: the Bahamas, Bermuda, Canada, the Caribbean. These all have links, by the way. So when you want to, learn about all it encompasses, the Bahamas, as they say, and the Caribbean, you got a lot of islands there. And Lord, they pulled their workforce from them islands, y'all. Just a side note. And transport everybody from Africa into the islands. Again, there were dark peoples already there. Central America. So now Central America, you're dealing with Mexico. Now that's just you can just when you're on a computer, you can just hover above the link here. It's political. Now, again, this word, throw out the word political. Boundaries. Because again, see, when you talk about how they formulated the lands, Mexico is not what they show it as now. It was bigger. But because folks don't want to share with those light tan, dark skin tone folks, like your Montezumas and stuff, and your dark skinned brothers, right? This is what we did. We did a chop up. This is what the Mexican-American War was about. We're going to get into it here in a little bit. Hopefully, Lord willing. Where are we at here? Almost 30 minutes. All right. I'm not trying to keep y'all all day because, again, a lot of this stuff is already defined. It's whether or not you believe it or not. Let's see. So, Mexico to the northern part of Central America, Colombia to the southern part. And then, again, the Caribbean Sea on one side, Pacific Ocean on another. So you got all that part of Central America. They got the Clipperton Island. I'm not going to get into that. We'll leave some homework for you. Greenland. Again, Mexico, you're just reiterating the same thing. So again, Central America, right? So you got Guatemalans down there. Shout out to my Guatemalans. As a matter of fact, let me just tap on it one time, right? Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama, right? See, again, y'all thinking too much in this America. And that's really a better way of saying it than saying U.S. Probably another, if you wanted to say U.S., another way of saying this out here is exactly what most of you deep Midwesterners and Southern folks, they call it America. Yes, that's a better way of saying this thing out here. They're actually right in the way they're saying it. Anyway, St. Pierre and looks like Miquelon, Turks and Caicos, as we know, and of course, the United States. That's what makes up this continent, y'all. Okay. Let me just get back into this here. So when we're talking about, okay, so freedom of religion, civil war, when you're hearing this whole thing with North America, transpose that in your mind now. All those places. A lot of places. Not as big as the rest of the world, but a lot of places, right? So the liberals against the conservatives, y'all. We still ain't learned nothing. This is 18 something. 18, y'all. We still doing this stupid battle? Y'all ain't learned nothing. Y'all ain't learned nothing, man. Listen, now this is how they explain conservatives as far as the reform war is concerned, who favored a tight bond between the Catholic Church and the Mexican state. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to reiterate a thing that I keep saying on this thing that keeps coming up in history. The separation of church and state is a farce, y'all. You believe something, and then something occurs from what you believe. That includes those in government. They believe a certain thing. You can look at girl just made it in there. Amy Barrett, woman just made it in there. Amy Barrett Cohen, right? Of course, which many people have a certain thought process, and I'm not saying one way or the other. But people believe a thing, and then from that comes something, y'all. So this idea of separation of church and state is a farce, y'all. Everybody believes something, and they're forming something and doing something from what they believe. I.e., when we were talking about open marriage, somebody believes that it makes sense for you to go sleeping on your spouse, boyfriend, etc., behind a girlfriend, and vice versa. Okay, we're not separating anything. It's all in the same pot. That makes more sense to do that than it is to be out front in the open and say who you like and who you might want to get with and is it okay. Instead of having that kind of conversation, we'd rather do it behind the back. And you cause a lot of damage doing that. That's all. That's all. So you got your conservatives here who believe a certain thing. These wars nearly bankrupted the Mexican treasury. Of course, most of these wars, this whole occupation they was trying to do, Napoleon. This is one reason why I couldn't go watch that movie, man. Cause don't give me the war tactics of a person trying to take over countries. How am I supposed to? I can't give no respect to folks like this, y'all. How again? We're talking coming from the standpoint of now. I can study a person, of course, as we all should, to understand and learn the thing. But the way certain people put this man up on it, no. Same thing with Alexander the Great. Don't take over is Y'all are in the same class with Adolf Hitler and everyone else, and I'm just not going to name, but everyone else who thinks it's okay to take over something. That's not cool. That is against. So then sit there and throw up crosses and you got all this stuff. Like when you look, again, French influences in Louisiana. So now when you have the Flower de Felice, I think. I know I wrote it down. Let me just look. Let me see if I can flip through my notes real quick here, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. Let me just go back in time here while looking at my thing, see if I could find this. I want to say it's the Fleur de Delis, if I'm not mistaken. We do have my computer here with me. Let me just... Fleur de Lis. Fleur de Lis, okay? Lily flower is what it means in English. Again, used around the 17th century, and it's horrible when you find out that that's how they branded the slaves. So even if they ran away, they knew where they were. That's sick when you find that out, y'all. That's on the helmet of that is on it to show you the deception. And this is, okay, Jay, come on, we're supposed to walk past that. Okay. This is on the helmets of a team in the National Football League making millions, as dare I say, billions of dollars a year. We got to stop, y'all. You can do it as so how you choose, but we got to stop, y'all. Let's get into this. Let's get into the Mexican-American War, and we're gonna go, and then we're gonna go on about our day. We're gonna enjoy this day here that is us. Just loving life, y'all. Just loving life and people in this life that is set up the way before us. So also known in the United States as the Mexican War. They need to keep it as the Mexican-American War. You need to keep it as, because this isn't Mexico. But we'll continue here. It's just on the land of Mexico. So in the U.S. it's known as that, and in Mexico it's known as the... This is hilarious, man. This source. Let's see. In Mexico may also be called... the War of the United States-Mexico. So yeah, they give a little side note here. Let's see. No, that's all. That's just... Let's see. History. The Alamo story from History of Current Events. Encyclopedia of the Mexican American War. Political, social, military. I love when they put that word political in there. Santa Barbara, page 564. This is something that dropped as of 2013 from Spencer Tucker. Wrote a book on this. Okay. Was an invasion. Let's see. I'm sorry. And in Mexico, it's known as the United States intervention. I told y'all take these words out, man. Invasion. The U.S. invaded Mexico for its stuff. The U.S. Army. Huh? How many of your ancestors was in the army at the time? You taking orders from a government telling you to take from innocent people. Come on and talk to me, somebody, about where love and compassion needs to come back into things. 1846 to 1848, y'all sitting there. Look now. Hey. You want to talk about, see, people talk this trash about Wikipedia and whatnot. We talking about free, it says free encyclopedia in the corner, y'all. See, again, if y'all want media a certain way to teach your kids and teach you something, y'all get involved, man. Stop worrying about this 4-year vote we do every year. Who gives two damns about that? I don't care about that. I want to know about laws. I want to know about the stuff y'all won't let us on the courthouse to vote about, that you sit there and you screw us on a daily basis. That's the stuff I want to know about. Could give two damns less about the person and whatever policies they pushing that they've already signed up to screw you on. And I understand some of it makes sense as far as who you vote for. I get that part of it. It is important for you to vote. But the idea is to push that thing to its maximum, y'all. We are supposed to have total input here. You're ruling over us, so then we should have total input over what is ruled over us, y'all. See this anyway. I'll keep going on because it's gonna come around back to it anyway. This is war. This is why civil wars happen. It's quote unquote civil war, right? How long? Yeah. We have 40 minutes. We about to wrap up. We about to wrap it up. We're just gonna leave it with this in the mind, and we're gonna let it wrap up right here. An invasion of Mexico by the United States Army from 1846 to 1848. And they're going to spin you a story about Mexico because, see, again, the hate in people won't let them say we was wrong, man. They won't let you say it fully. They might give you a little bit. Normally when people aren't truly repentant, this is a side note about stuff in your life, y'all. When people ain't really truly, yeah, I get to say it. When people ain't really repentant in your life, they always got that little bit of garbage, little excuse they give you. They can't never just say, hey, I was wrong. They can't just leave it like that. They'll say, hey, I was wrong, but it always is, and you look like a donkey too. You look. Let's just say it real clear, since I put explicit content. You look like a jackass like that. Yeah, no, yeah, I was wrong, but no. You're responsible for your own actions. See, again, when people are dealing in righteousness, justice, and truth, uprightness, right? I ain't looking for another excuse from you. We talking about what I did. It's sick what I see. It's sick what we have to deal with as a society. We are wrong. Don't care about what they was doing, while their actions may have had something to do with it. When you're truly repenting on a thing, you're wrong. What you did was wrong. I don't care about what the other one did. What I did was wrong. This is the thing that gets twisted when you deal with slavery. Also, what happens today with racism. Don't blame the slave for getting away from the slave master. The slave master was wrong for taking slaves and making money off their back improperly. Stop getting mad at black folks. Now, again, this is not to negate black people's responsibility of behavior, but we're talking about from the standpoint when you're screwed with. I mentioned this a couple of episodes ago. This idea of, here it is right here. Stop blaming people when circumstances that cause them to react a certain way don't meet your supposed standards. Oh, two wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, we damn well know two wrongs don't make a right. The problem is, what was the thing? What was the causing action? See, again, God deals with this a certain way. When Adam and Eve screwed up, this ain't, hey, God, this is the wife you gave me. No, Adam, what did you do? What did you do? And when it comes to this thing of racism, you've got, quote unquote, because again, we're talking Europeans now, right? AKA so-called white people. These are the ones who started the scenario, fueled with some improprieties from the cultures of which they took over, because we're not negating that part of it. However, because somebody is beating their wife, this is why I keep using this example. Because you beating your wife or raping your wife or girlfriend or whoever, don't mean I come over there now and join in on the party, right? Can't, man. I can't no more. Yo, it followed. So just to continue here, and then we're gonna go on about our day. It followed the 1845 American annexation of Texas. Man, this country was doubling down. Again, this is just Europe 2.0, y'all. Just coming. You was fighting for takeover over in Europe and in England and in Scotland and in Ireland, and y'all was just fighting. France and Italy, y'all was just fighting and fighting and fighting. And what you did, like some weird looking Looney Tunes kind of, when they in the fight and the dust is thing and everybody just sitting there tornado style just fighting. And if you get too close, you get sucked up in that thing. That's what they did. They came over to these lands with that garbage American Revolutionary War that we sit there and suck down every July 4th. Again, there's nothing I must be clear here in the mind so that y'all understand the thing. You want to celebrate being on these lands. That's a beautiful thing, y'all. But understand in which the heart this mess was done. This is not as holy as what you think it is. So when you pop off a firework, when you drink a Budweiser, right? When you're doing these things, understand that there's more of a gravity here than what you're seeing. You eat that hamburger and hot dog and wave that flag, you got to understand what's going on, y'all. This thing was built off occupation and takeover. They use this word annexation of Texas. No, you robbed it from Mexico. It's what you did. Well, no annexation. You used your power to continue stealing from the people of these lands of which stuff already was theirs, that you refused to share. It followed the 1845 American annexation of Texas, which is a whole link you can look at, which Mexico still considered its territory because Mexico refused to recognize the Treaty of Velasco. Y'all can get into that. A lot of these treaties, the United States government Whether y'all want to say that the 1700 government ain't the 18 and ain't the 19s and the whatever, however y'all feel, okay? We talking about where they came through with these laws, called them treaties back then. And even though it was signed, normally forcefully, no, they really believe that, KJ. No. For that, I re-reference Esau and Jacob and the birthright story. I'll just leave it there for y'all. President Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. Man, that's a good looking brother right there. Anyway, after he was captured by the Texian army, man, during the 1836 Texas Revolution, the Republic of Texas was the word de facto there, describes the practices that exist in reality regardless of whether they are officially recognized by laws or other formal norms. Commonly used to refer to what happens in practice in contrast to de jure. So we're just going to stop right there, y'all, because I've already made my point. Let's look at by right. So de jure is old school, means by right or of your right. So when you go back and you are, let's see here, where do I have it? Where was it? Yeah, so the Republic of Texas was de facto an independent country. Again, it belonged to Mexico. It belonged to that landmass that y'all could have just... You look at some old maps of what Mexico was with the U.S. just to let you know how big it actually is. And I say is, because I don't care about the border states y'all made. You got land existing upon somebody else's stuff, man. We living in the Poltergeist movie, y'all. Anyway. Commonly referred to, and y'all worried about fentanyl and everything in your neighborhoods. Here you introduce war and violence into these neighborhoods. How about that? Karma come back around in the wildest ways. You have no clue. It's giving you seed time and harvest, man. Anyway, I ain't even gonna get into it because we already there. We have 47 minutes. I think I put down enough here. So especially for y'all to continue to learn this as you want to. The longer you're going about this, guys, you're gonna see a lot. That's all I got. That's the only way of saying this. Thank you guys for walking down this road with me today. Again, a little history lesson. It's been a while since I've done these history lessons. Thank you very much. I love y'all. God bless y'all. This is not coming out of hate. This is warning stuff, y'all. This is, we can do better, guys. All of us, me, you, all of us. Right? So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Right? And we will talk to you guys soon. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, look to find the beauty in a different view.